Did you know that 97% of scientists agree that climate change is occurring? And this was found in a survey done by NASA in 2020. And so I've been conducting research over the past few months on climate change and some ways we can combat it. And I know we all want our future generations and kids to be able to live in a healthy environment and a healthy earth. And so in order to make this happen, we need to reduce climate change. And one way we can do this is by eliminating gas vehicles and adopting electric vehicles. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the causes, the effects, and some evidence of climate change. And so the causes of climate change, one of them being the greenhouse effect, which is where the process of where the heat is trapped in the Earth's atmosphere due to the greenhouse gases, which are produced by human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels, known like coal and oil. And over 20% of our global carbon emissions are due to the burning of the coal and oil, according to the National Resources Defense Committee in 2017. And so these greenhouse gases here stop the heat from leaving the Earth's atmosphere and keeps it in the Earth. And so over time, that'll cause the Earth to warm up. And so then the effect of these greenhouse gases. So according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 2020, they forecasted that there's going to be a temperature rise of of 2.5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit over the next century, which is a big increase. And this is actually a graph here showing just the increase of temperature over time. And it's predicted that it will continue to increase. And this increase in temperature can cause droughts for farmers, which is bad, and can also affect ecosystems, which are sensitive to temperature, which could lead to extinction. And then, so for some evidence of climate change, one of them being our CO2 levels in our atmosphere. So here's a little graph here showing the CO2 in our atmosphere over time. And then at the start of the Industrial Revolution there, way over to the right, that shows that the carbon dioxide level in our atmosphere spiked. And according to NASA, in 2020, there's actually 410 parts per million of CO2 in our atmosphere currently, which is a wild number. And one of the largest contributors to climate change is our personal vehicles. And according to an article by the Union of Concerned Scientists in 2014, cars and trucks actually contribute to 1/5 of all U.S. emissions, as shown here, just some of the cars' emissions there. And most of the emissions actually come from the exhaust. And there's also, the government's also been removing regulations on emission standards, and which is bad for the environment. And so these emission standards need to be stay in place or actually put stricter ones if possible. And so the solution to these gas vehicles are electric vehicles. And according to the Office of Energy and Efficiency and Renewable Energy in 2019, electric vehicles contribute 3 times less emissions to the environment. And you may be wondering why it's not 100%, but actually the electricity used to power these vehicles can sometimes be produced in not very clean ways. So if we can improve our electricity production to a more clean, in a more clean way, these cars can hopefully be 100% emission free. And so some critics of electric vehicles may say that they're too costly, but electric vehicles price have continued to decrease over time as the lithium-ion batteries that power these vehicles continue to decrease over time as well. So as the technology for lithium-ion batteries increase, the price will decrease for those batteries, and then in turn the vehicles will also decrease in price. And this graph here kind of just shows the electric vehicles are also, they are decreasing in price, and the gas vehicles there in maroon there, that line, are actually increasing in price 2 to 3% year over year from 2017 to 2018. And also the look of vehicles. The company Tesla has been changing the game and has been making these cars look more appealing, such as this car here. And they're also making cheaper cars, and they will become more cheaper over time as lithium-ion batteries decrease in price. And also, in the meantime, if you can't afford these vehicles, electric vehicles, you can bike or carpool or switch to a more fuel-efficient vehicle, such as like a hybrid, possibly. And so climate change is continuing to worsen, but we can reduce this climate change by eliminating gas and adopting electric vehicles. And so I ask you to help make a difference and to make sure the Earth is habitable for our future generations.